Damn, look at that angle, man. That is 90s music video angle where I'm gonna get right up into the camera. I'm gonna yo, yo. Okay. I don't even know what the hell I'm saying. I digress even before the video starts. One of the things I hate watching on YouTube is, reviewers who are covering the same kind of things I'm covering, specifically anime related. I have a really hard time watching so-called anime reviewers, especially those that are covering series I'm currently covering myself. And with the exception of one channel recently that I actually enjoy, the way he does it, he alternates between live reactions and actual reviews, and stuff like that. He's the only person that I've found thus far that I can stand to sit through, because it's very closely to what I do. And whereas the problem I have, and I don't mean to sound like a pompous ass, but when it comes to anime reviewers, there are one of two types I continually run into. One of three types, actually. The one is, the first one is the overabundance of theatricality, wearing costume, being all like jumpy and jump cuts, and being, overly theatrical with how they're reading their script of their review and whatever like that, being very cunning with the lingo, if you will. And I don't enjoy it. I found this one video recently of a Cowboy Bebop, like series review, and it was this chick who donned, sort of a noirish suit. You have the Cowboy Bebop OP music playing, and it's just overly stylized, and I can see where she's going with it, and I just, meh, I didn't like it. I couldn't sit through it. And conversely to that, the second sort of most common thing I run into is people doing relatively the same thing I do, where they turn on the camera and they're just talking, but it's a lot, just lots and lots and lots of talking and not really much being said, just sort of a recap. No real sort of, delving into the characterization, the motivations of the characters, the emotions you feel watching it, or that the characters are going through, and all this kind of stuff, exploring the human condition. And that's kind of what I try to do in, my own interpretations of anime episodes and such. I really try to get in depth with the characterization, with the pathos, with all of those things, those emotional elements and the motivations, and how I'm left feeling. I try to capture lightning in a bottle when I've just gotten off watching an episode. And then the third sort of most common thing that I find are people who just, amateurs like myself, turn on their camera, but they're wholly unprepared. I see people turning on their camera and they don't know the names of the characters. If it were Motoko Kusanagi, they would say something like Canterbury Cricket, or like Mitsuko, Craptabular or whatever. They make it up off the top of their head. They expect you to know what the hell they're talking about. I don't know, I sound like an asshole judging these people, whatever. But the whole point being, I really do not enjoy watching these three sort of tropes in review style. I'm not saying I'm any better at doing it than anyone else, but at least what sort of my driving force is to try to do it the way I wish I would see other people doing it. I try to put into my reviews how I wish I could see other people doing it. Really talking about the characters, really talking about the motivations, as I say, really talking about the emotions, and trying to harness and capture what I was feeling in watching it. If there's a mystery going on, how involved am I with that mystery? Do I care? Is it exciting? Am I trying to figure it out? Am I actually to the point of speculating? All of these different facets. And the one danger I've noticed, even amongst all of these types of reviewers that I don't enjoy watching, with the guy that I am actually watching, and I'm not going to name names just because I don't want to influence people one way or the other with what they might want to look at, whatever like that. But with this one guy, he covers a couple of the shows I cover as well, and then he covers some other stuff. But I find the YouTube scenario kind of is a plague to me on occasion when it comes to that, because immediately, you know, he's got like 9,000 subscribers, whatever it is. And I've got at least the numeric representation of my subscriber count on my main channel is 950, something like that. And I feel like a lot of those are dead accounts, and very much does not equate to the viewership of the videos. I've talked about that before. But I find there is this almost level of jealousy and competitiveness that I start feeling. When I put an episode review up of a show that we are both covering, I'm jealous of the fact that because he's got so many more subscribers than I do, and he doesn't do things that different to what I do, why is he so much more successful than I am? It's constantly plaguing my mind. And I start to like feel like, well, if I can at least get my video up before he gets his up, because I know he's going to have 200 views within an hour, and I'll be lucky if I have 1, you know, to 3 in that span. At least I got my video up first. And I hate being like that. I hate this whole concept of the view counts and the views and the subscribers, and how you get into a twisted mentality if you're not watching yourself and you're not taking account of what really matters. Even with all the people who have supported me, even with the people I'm constantly in contact with in the comments and having the conversation with, which is the utmost, the thing that matters most to me personally in doing any YouTube video stuff. Even with all of that, it's not that I'm forgetting that or eschewing it off to the side, but sometimes I'm watching the view counts. Sometimes I'm watching the subscriber counts, whether it's, you know, raising or lowering, whether people are checking in and then clocking out. The view counts, like I say, I can have a video up for like 4 hours and there'll be like 1 view. Only after days does it go up above 10 sometimes. And then conversely, sometimes if there's like a big episode of something, I'll have 100 views within 5 hours, whatever it is. But it's much more, you know, sort of on the low side, so that when I see somebody who hasn't been around as long as I have, is doing relatively the same thing I do, and somehow they're more successful than I am, of course, you get into your mind, what am I doing wrong? Why is it people don't like me like they like that guy? And why, you know, as I say, with the view counts and everything, you get that twisted mentality of competitive bullshit where, you know, that human nature thing where if my video's up first, well, at least I got that. At least mine was up first. I'll have 1 view for the first 5 hours. He'll have 500, whatever it is. But at least I got my video up ahead of him by minutes, by hours, whatever. And that's another reason I have a really hard time watching people who review things I review, you know, in a similar fashion. With the exception of people who I've befriended and can consider friends, whose content I watch every time I have available time, even if I'm not commenting every step of the way. When it's somebody I'm, you know, personally befriended, I don't feel that. I don't feel that competitive nature. I never feel, you know, I feel like championing their success. And I'm so happy that they're doing well. I've never had that sort of jealousy. It's only people that I don't have contact with and are doing similar things to how I do them, and somehow they're having more success than me. I don't get it. I don't know why I feel that way, but it's largely why I tend to avoid, apart from not particularly, you know, caring for the ways most people do those things. It's also because I don't like the person I become when I am watching other people doing what I do and having more success. And because of the way YouTube is set up, having this feeling sort of driven home, driven into your mind that you don't matter unless you're getting views. You don't matter unless you're getting attention. And I just hate that. I hate that competitive nature.